tonight at the Clifton Center. It's going to be Louisville's own Brooks Ritter and Adia Victoria, who is joining me in the studio. Welcome to Louisville.
Hi, thank you.
It's great to have you here. We've been big fans of this record.
Yay.
It's all right. We got that out of the way. It's going for you. I just want to make sure Beyond the Bloodhounds. You always have that feeling that you're going to say that wrong in front of the artist, so I'm glad I got that part right,
and that's
too.
good to hear, instead of sitting down and someone being like, I hate your album. I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, honestly, have you ever had that happen? Has anyone said that?
No one said it yet.
Yeah, there's a
Not
reason.
in person.
Because it's a good record.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
No, we are big fans of it, and I mean, I would say you're new to us, and I guess you're sort of new to everyone. Like, this is the first record, right? There was no like demo EP or anything before this that I know of.
There was a small EP that I self-released last January called the Sea of Sand EP, and it just had a few initial mixes of 3 of the songs from the album, but that was my first foray into the music world, so I am brand new to most people I meet.
Yeah, and this ended up on a major, right? I mean, you're on Atlantic Record. Was it that EP that helped you sort of get to that point?
Yeah, well, I think what happened more so than the EP was the live show. I've been doing touring now for about 2 years straight, and one of their A&R execs came out to our show in DC. Mm-hmm. She saw us play, and then literally like 3 weeks later, I had the first draft of a contract offer.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of that, like how rare that happens with a brand new artist who's just kind of getting started out there, because, I mean, people, fight for that, and to have that moment, it says so much. One, again, about the strength of your songs, and two, what people have been, saying when they see you live, because those reviews aren't too bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling very blessed. It's been a crazy year. My life has changed quite a bit, but I think I'm still trying to piece it all together, and it's kind of hard to get a perspective on it when you live in a van.
Right.
So, but no, everything's just kind of taken off at warp speed, and I'm fortunate that I work with an incredible team of people who really believe in my vision as an artist.
Yeah. And how has that been for you then, for that to take off so quickly and almost, from what it sounds like, unexpectedly for you? I mean, has the transition been easy to this sort of life on the road thing, and, playing in front of strangers every night? And
well, I mean, I'd say it's more curious than easy or hard. It's just a completely different lifestyle. Like, I guess everyone has an idea of what it will be like until you actually do it. I don't know. I think the coolest part is kind of this kind of hyper familiarity that I have with my music now and my musicians that I work with. Like, we're just so in sync with each other, and I don't think it would have happened any other way other than playing a show almost every single night. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this album has taken me places where I never thought that I would ever reach. Like, I just got back from Reykjavik last week, and that's insane to me.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to adjust. I finally get a few months to recollect and kind of digest everything that's happened to me in the past 2 years. So I'm going to go home and start working on the second album.
Already?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure you got plenty to write about.
I got lots to talk about. Lots of sound guys.
I mean, that's one of the things, because, your album is so much, I mean, there is a mood on it and a feeling, but a lot of it comes back to those lyrics. And I guess I read that's sort of where you started. You started more as a poet than a songwriter.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Like, where did that knack come from? How did you pick up sort of the talent of poetry?
I think it was just something that I was born with. I've always been an avid reader. My grandmother put that into me as a child. She took me to the library, and I would spend all my free time there. And I was rather shy as a kid. I didn't really talk much, so I was always involved in this like inner world of my own making. And books were a huge part of that. And so I guess it was just a natural progression to go from reading words and stories to, wanting to create your own story, and that's where I felt empowered as a little girl, was writing my life through these characters, and poetry was a part of that as well. Yeah.
And did you find it like any kind of a challenge to put that in song form? Like, now you've got to have a chorus now, or whatever, there's a hook or something? Because I don't know, it's always seemed like it is different. Like, poetry, you can get away with a bit more free form than it seems like what's essentially a pop song.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess with music, I knew what I liked to listen to. Mm-hmm. I knew what I thought sounded good. So that was kind of my guide for music. When I began playing the guitar when I was 21, I was listening to a lot of blues. And so that was kind of my guideline for what I wanted to sound like and what I wanted these stories to be like. But then I also loved artists like Fiona Apple and like Portishead, and I like the mood of their music, and that's kind of what I wanted to instill in mine, was just like this heavy kind of moodiness.
Mm-hmm. And it's there. It's drenched in it. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful record. In fact, we should probably play a track right now.
Let's.
I know we've been playing Stuck in the South and Dead Eyes quite a bit, but you've just released a video for Horrible Weather, right?
Yes, I did.
So what's the story behind that one?
Well, I wanted to just release a very simple kind of story about North Nashville, where my family lives, where I lived for the first 6 years in Nashville with my mom. And it's an area that's historically black. Fisk University's there, TSU, but it's going under a lot of like rapid redevelopment and gentrification. And every time I come home, there's just new condos. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to preserve this. I need to commit this area to a project because it's going to be gone soon.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to just shine a light on North Nashville as I know it, Nashville as I experience it.
Right. Yeah. And you can see the video online, just on your website, all those places. Talking with Adia Victoria here on 91.9 WFPK's playing WFPK's Winter Wednesday tonight at the Clifton Center. We'll talk some more in just a few moments. From the record Beyond the Bloodhounds, it's Horrible Weather on FPK.
Midnight fell down on Kill Devil Hill. I ain't seen no sign of light for weeks. That's how it feels. Gray sky, horrible weather. It ties me together to you. It ties me to you.
Adia Victoria from the record Beyond the Bloodhounds. That is Horrible Weather with its brand new music video that you can see online right now too. And Adia's with me here on 91.9 WFPK. She's playing WFPK's Winter Wednesday tonight at the Clifton Center with Brooks Ritter. And again, those details as well at WFPK.org. Adia, you were talking about new music and everything and already getting writing on the next record, but there was a track that just came out a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Called Backward Blues. Now, that was for the 30 days, 30 songs
Yeah.
that Dave Eggers was a part of. How did you get involved with that?
My label sent me an email. They're like, this is the project. Would you be interested in submitting a song? And at first I was like, ugh, no, I don't want to sit and think about Trump and write a song. Like, God, no, I might turn orange. But then I thought about it and just like what I was feeling, because it's inevitable. Like, it was an inevitable feeling. There was no getting away from him during the campaign. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I think it was like at 3:30. And I just felt compelled to write this song. I was like, what am I feeling right now? Like, what have you seen? Like, what's going on? And I just recounted what it felt like driving around the country right now on tour, like going through places like Iowa and Missouri. And every single place I went was Trump country.
Yeah.
It was just a sea of just like signs, Trump signs. And that's kind of when I started thinking, I think this might happen. I really think that he's speaking to these people. And then the song just came out of me.
Yeah. When you're out there like that and knowing that your crowd might be different politically minded than you in these places and everything, it's not like a lot of the songs on here on your debut album are overtly political, but there are plenty of it that speaks to certain sides. I mean, does that ever register to you when you're singing that out there and wondering how it's connecting?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm always aware of like who my audience is, but I really can't allow that to shape what I do and what songs I do. Like, we just got back from a festival in Dallas, and I gave a shout out to the people protesting in the streets right now, and Black Lives Matter. And we lost like half the people watching our show.
They just walked out.
Yeah, it was an outdoor festival, and they like shouted some things at me, and they just walked away. And I was just like, well. Don't forget to pick out one of my albums at the merch table. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it runs over my mind, and I feel differently when I'm performing these songs, like say at home in the South than I do somewhere far away, because these songs are mostly about the South, like my experiences growing up in the South. So sometimes it can kind of feel like you're telling on someone or like revealing like a deep family secret when I'm performing in the South with people that have like experiences, because they're just like, yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And you talked about these lyrics kind of being your story, in a sense, your diary. I mean, it's an open book. Like this is what my diary says, basically.
Absolutely.
And putting that out there like that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
vulnerable. I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's vulnerable, foolhardy. I don't know. Because like I mentioned, I'd been so quiet as a kid and so inside of my own head, where I think it kind of isolated me, where I was like, maybe there's no one else like me. Like maybe I'm some sort of freak that feels this way. But it wasn't until I went out into the road and I started playing these songs for a predominantly white crowd that I realized a lot of people feel this way, and which led me to believe that the human experience like is very, I'll say, specific. And then we have all these things created by society that tell us how different we are and how disconnected we are. But inherently, I feel like human beings are very much connected to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to hope so.
Please.
Hope for the future, right?
Exactly.
Did have any of these, the intensity of any of these lyrics or songs change for you post-election, from what they might have meant beforehand and possibly how they feel afterwards? Have you noticed any of that?
Not really. I feel like as a Black person, I'm not as shocked that he won. I'm not that shocked. And so my songs really, I don't really sing them with a more, intensity now. Like, it's just like, yeah, I mean, it sucked before for my people, and it's going to suck afterwards too. So I really didn't have any sort of blinders on when it came to America. It's just like, America's going to do what America's going to do, and this is what they're going to do. So that's helped me in a way. I feel like a lot of my white progressive friends are like going through an existential crisis, because this is forcing them to walk back a lot of the things that they thought about their country, especially after we elected Obama. They're like, oh, well, that's it. Racism solved. And it's just like, well, not really. So no, I mean, I feel like I still stand by my work pre and post Trump.
It reminds me of it was just on the SNL. Did you see the SNL in the past week? It's very much the opening skit right there laid out.
I've definitely felt that, and I think I'm probably the person in my family that's the most like progressive and maybe the most like hopeful. My two big brothers, they were not shocked or appalled by any of this. They were just like, you need to be careful with hitching your hopes onto national politics, and there's work we can be doing locally, but they kind of had a good laugh, election night, like, well, America, you did that. And I was just like, oh, God.
Talking with Adia Victoria here on 91.9 WFPK. Again, she's in town tonight at the Clifton Center for the WFPK Winter Wednesday with Brooks Ritter. Those details at WFPK.org. So thank you. You look like you have one more thing on your mind, maybe.
Oh, no, just thinking about a nap.
I didn't know if there was something still to say there. Get you a nap, and hopefully you'll be refreshed and everything for tonight's show. We'll see you out there. Since we were talking about Backwards Blues, though, for the 30 Days, 30 Songs, I thought we'd end on that one.
Okay.
We'll play that one right here.
Sure.
So is this just going to be for this one? Do you see this making the next record? Is it going to be a holdover or just a one-off?
I think this is just a one-off. I think this is just a special moment between me and my guitar and my cell phone recorder in the middle of the night. And yeah, that's for this.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we play it out. Adia, thank you so much for dropping by today.
Cheers.
It's 91.9 WFPK.
Look at all the signs waving in the breeze. Such a silly sight I never thought I'd see. I feel it in the air washing over me, and soon enough the tide will drag us all to sea, 'cause now we're dragged.